Hey guys, it's Rachel here, and today I'm going to be filming for you guys my March wrap up, and I had another really decent month. I read a total of 6 things and I am finishing out with 2 more things, so I am super duper proud of myself. I am 19 books in on my Goodreads challenge, and I think that I want to read 80 books this year, so 19 books in is definitely a plus, so I'm super proud of myself. And yeah, like I said, I had a really good reading month in the month of March, even though I was super crazy busy this month and it took me a while to read a couple of things. I'm still really proud of myself, so I'm just going to go ahead and get right on in on it. So the first book that I read this month was The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey, and I actually listened to this on audiobook coinciding with the book itself, and I just have to say right now, if you're going to read this book, I highly recommend the audiobook. The audiobook was fantastic. Lately I've been really obsessed with audiobooks, and I just can't say enough good things about the narrator of this story. It is so fantastic. I absolutely loved it, and I listened to it using the Audible app, and oh my god, it was so good. So I don't want to tell you a whole lot of what the story is about, but I did do a full review about it, so I will go ahead and link that down below. But pretty much this follows a special girl named Melanie, and she lives in a post-apocalyptic world where there are things called hungries, and it is just so good. The ending though, there was probably only one thing about the ending that kind of bugged me, but overall I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So great. I absolutely love this. I highly recommend it. If you guys want a full review of this, I will do one if you'd like a full review, but again, I highly recommend you go into this knowing very little about it, because I think that that will make the journey so much better. Again, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Amazing. The second thing that I read this month is going to be a graphic novel, and that was Lock and Key Volume 1 by Welcome to Lovecraft by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. And again, as I've said time and time again, I absolutely love Joe Hill. He is one of my favorite authors ever. He's an auto-buy author. I will read everything he ever writes, and I'm trying to, in fact. And so I thought that it made sense to go ahead and go with his graphic novel. I got this on the Amazon Marketplace, and I'm extremely pleased with the quality of it, and I will be continuing with the series and all the hardcover because they are so pretty. But pretty much this follows a family that at the beginning of our story there is a tragedy, there is a death, and from this death the family inherits a house called Lovecraft, and things are kind of crazy at this house. Doors opening into parallel universes. It is really interesting. I really enjoyed it. I think I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I will say though, this is a very dark read. I was asked if I could compare this, well, not compare it, but what I would compare this to. There is not a whole lot that I can honestly compare this to. It is not like Walking Dead level of violence, but it is very violent and very dark, and it just deals with a whole range of emotions from people with being maybe schizophrenic or being not crazy, but like mentally unstable. But it was really interesting. The artwork is fantastic. I am always a big fan of the glossy style of stuff, so I really enjoy the artwork in this. Like I said, I am trying to read everything by Joe Hill. He has another graphic novel called The Cape. It's very dark, much more dark than this, and I will probably be getting to Thumbprint next, but really enjoyed this. I highly recommend it if you want to continue with Joe Hill's work, or if you just want a really dark graphic novel. After that, I listened to another audiobook, and this audiobook was The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. Now, this was my first Gaiman, and I absolutely loved it. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I have not given very many books 5 out of 5 stars this year, and I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. Hands down, it was absolutely beautiful. I did a full review of this one as well, and I will link it down below, and it was stunning. This follows a man who, at the death of a family member, goes to his old childhood home and goes down to the end of the lane where he had a friend growing up lived, and finds the ocean at the end of the lane where many interesting things have happened. This story was much darker than I expected. It deals with a lot of different subject matters family, it's very family oriented in its subject matter and very fantastical. It's almost like a fairy tale if you could create a atmospheric fairy tale world. It was so great. I absolutely loved it, and because I loved it so much, I have decided to team up with Riley from Riley Marie 1196 to do a year of Gaiman, or completing the rest of the year with reading a different Neil Gaiman book at each month until the end of the year. And I will be filming a full video on this and posting it this week sometime, maybe tomorrow, but I absolutely loved it. So great. After this, I finished Murder of Crows by Anne Bishop. I have been reading this for probably 2 months, not because it's not good, but because it is just so good. I wanted to savor it, and I absolutely loved this, of course. It was so fantastic. 5 out of 5 stars. Anything by Anne Bishop probably is going to be a 5 out of 5 stars by me. I love her writing style. I have talked about this series so many times, I'm not even going to say what it's about. I will go ahead and link you guys down below to the review of the first book, Written in Red. I also have a review for Murder of Crows, and I will be reading the next book, Vision in Silvers, during the month of April. Again, I absolutely love this. So fantastic. I highly recommend if you love urban fantasy. And then finally, I finished the month with reading Amulet, Volume 1, The Stonekeeper by Katsu Kibushi, and this was just a really quick read. I got this for my birthday from Sarah and decided to go ahead and just devour it one night, and I really liked it. This is, again, much darker. I had a lot of dark reads this month. This was much darker than I expected it to be. This follows a family after a tragedy who, of course, inherits another house, kind of in the middle of nowhere, and this house has some really interesting rooms in it, and one night they're hearing some noises coming from the basement, and a tentacled creature steals their mom away, and so our two main characters, our main character Emily and her brother, have to go and get her back, and they find a whole parallel universe. Amazing. I really enjoyed this. I think I gave this a 3.5 or 4 stars. Really good. I will be continuing with the series. I really recommend it if you want a fun, quick, fast-paced graphic novel. Those are all the books that I completed this month. I also was listening to 2 more audiobooks. So just really quickly, I have been really obsessed with this website called Scribd. Now, I was introduced this from Susie from Read Susie Read, and I would go ahead and link down to Scribd. Now Scribd, they are not sponsoring me or anything like that. I just really like them. Scribd is really cool. It is a website where you can get thousands of audiobooks and thousands of Kindle books for, I think, $8.99 a month, and it's different from Audible, in which you can listen to as many audiobooks as you want in a month, whereas Audible you pay $14.99 like a month and you get one, and then you have to pay for the other ones at a discounted price. With Scribd, you can listen to as many audiobooks throughout the month if you want to. Now, it has some really great books on it. As far as audiobooks goes, it's still slacking. You're probably still going to want to find some other audiobooks through Audible, so I'm still using Audible, but I really recommend Scribd if you want to listen to a lot of Neil Gaiman's on there. There's a lot of YA, really good YA on there, and there's just a whole bunch of different really good stuff on there, and so I just really recommend it if you want a cheaper alternative than to having to pay for each individual audiobook. I really like Scribd, and I really recommend it. So I've been listening to 2 audiobooks on Scribd, the first one being Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and it's taken me a little bit to read this one because I'm not enjoying it as much as I had hoped to enjoy it. I think the whole silver blood, red blood kind of thing is kind of being overdone right now. I am enjoying it. It's just not the greatest thing ever. I maybe just don't like the narrator as much, but the story is starting to pick up. I'm about 150 pages into it, and I will be continuing that throughout the rest of the month, so hopefully I'll be finishing it. Also, I had started to listen to Bedwetter by Sarah Silverman, and I'm going to be stopping that. I just figure I just really don't like Sarah Silverman. I think she's a little bit too vulgar for my tastes, and I really just don't want to listen to an audiobook about her wetting the bed and her sex life. So the other thing that I'm going to be finishing today actually is going to be Pieces of Revenge. I have very little left, and so I need to finish this because next week I will be posting a video review of this along with a giveaway of said book, so I am very excited for that as well, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, other than that, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to let me know what you guys read this month, go ahead and link me down below. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for commenting, liking, subscribing, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.